Hey Liam, you know what I've been noticing since we started walking?
What's that?
Every person we pass answers questions so naturally. The words just come out. But whenever someone asks me even a simple question, my mind goes completely blank. A few seconds later, I know what I wanted to say, but the moment is already gone. Why does that keep happening?
That's actually one of the most common experiences English learners have. The interesting part is that your brain isn't failing, it's just doing something that takes much longer than necessary.
Really? Because every time it happens, I think, maybe I just don't know enough English yet.
Most people think that. But let me ask you, when someone asks you a question, what's the very first thing your brain tries to do?
I guess I start searching for the right sentence. I want to make sure everything is correct before I open my mouth.
And that's exactly where the problem begins. Your brain isn't trying to communicate, it's trying to build a perfect answer. Those are two very different things.
I always believed fluent speakers were just faster at building sentences.
That's what most learners imagine. But in reality, fluent speakers rarely build sentences from scratch. Their brain recognizes an idea almost instantly, which is why their answers feel effortless.
So they're not thinking faster, they're thinking differently.
Exactly. And your brain can learn to do the exact same thing. It's not a talent, it's just a habit.
That gives me hope because I thought my brain wasn't wired for languages.
Let me show you something. Don't think too much. Just answer the first thing that comes to mind. As we're walking down this street, what's the first thing you notice?
That little bakery on the corner.
How long did it take you to answer?
Almost no time at all. I just looked at it and said what I saw.
Exactly. You didn't stop to search for a complicated sentence. You simply recognized something and the answer came naturally.
That's true. It actually felt effortless.
That's the first technique. Don't build the answer, just recognize the idea first.
But how does that help when someone suddenly asks me a question?
Same logic. If I ask, "What are you looking for?" picture the answer first, a bakery, a coffee shop. Once you see the picture, the words follow.
So I focus on the situation, not the grammar?
Exactly. Your brain processes images and real-life situations much faster than grammar rules.
Wow. I used to panic about tenses and pronunciation like it was an exam.
Exactly. But real conversations aren't grammar tests.
That takes so much pressure off.
Today, we drop that pressure. Your brain already knows how to do this. You just have to trust it.
If recognizing ideas is natural, why do I freeze so often?
Because you spent years memorizing lists and grammar rules. When asked a question, your brain opens hundreds of files instead of just answering.
That's exactly how it feels, like opening files.
Exactly. But when you saw that bakery, you didn't check files. You just reacted to something real. You focused on the bakery, not on your English.
It's crazy. For a second, I completely forgot I was even practicing English.
That's the secret. Most learners try to focus more on English. Sometimes you need to focus less on the language and more on the situation.
So instead of thinking, how do I build this sentence, I just think that's street musician, and the words follow?
Precisely. Stop searching for words before deciding what to say. The idea comes first, the sentence follows.
Can I ask you something? If my brain already knows how to recognize ideas, why does it still feel so slow during conversations?
Because you're interrupting it. Before answering, "How is your day going?" your brain asks, "Is this grammar right? Is my pronunciation okay? Is there a better word?" By the time you answer all those, the moment is gone.
That's exactly what happens. It feels like 10 different voices talking inside my head before I say anything.
And none of those voices help you communicate. They just slow you down. Instead of asking, "What's the perfect sentence?" ask yourself, "What's the simplest idea I want to share?"
That already feels so much lighter, like taking off a heavy backpack. I think I finally understand something. For a long time, I believed fluent people thought faster than I did, but now I think they simply hesitate less.
That's a great observation. Fluent speakers aren't searching for perfect words, they're just comfortable expressing simple ideas naturally, which is why they sound so relaxed.
So, fluency isn't about saying something extraordinary, it's about saying ordinary things without fear.
Exactly. The most natural conversations are incredibly simple, talking about food, plans, or how your day is going. The language isn't complicated. The confidence is what makes it sound effortless.
That's really encouraging because those are conversations I can actually imagine myself having.
And that's where fluency begins, not with difficult vocabulary or perfect grammar, but with simple ideas expressed naturally.
I feel like I'm thinking differently, but how do native speakers answer so quickly when surprised by a question? It almost feels like the words come out before they've even finished listening.
The answer surprises most learners. Native speakers aren't creating brand new sentences every time. Most of the time, they're just recognizing an idea they've used many times before.
What do you mean by recognizing an idea?
If I ask, "How is your day going?" what would you answer?
Probably it's going really well, or it's been a busy day.
Notice what happened? You didn't stop to invent those sentences from scratch. They were already there, and your brain simply chose one.
You're right. It felt like picking something off a shelf instead of building it from scratch.
Exactly. Your brain loves familiar ideas. The more complete ideas you store, the faster they become available in real conversations.
So if I want to think faster, should I stop memorizing vocabulary altogether?
Not at all. Vocabulary is still important, but the secret is how you organize it. Instead of storing random words like coffee or crosswalk, store complete thoughts like, "I'd love to grab a coffee," or "Let's wait until the light changes."
I really like that idea. It feels much closer to how people actually talk.
That's because conversations happen in complete ideas, not in individual words.
Can we try this right now? I want to see if it really changes how I think.
Of course. Imagine I asked, "Would you like to stop somewhere before we keep walking?" Don't search for perfect grammar, just answer naturally.
I'd love to grab a coffee.
That sounded very natural. Now, if I asked, "How are you enjoying the city?" what would you say?
Maybe I'm really enjoying the atmosphere, or I've never seen a place quite like this.
Notice how much faster you answered compared to the beginning of our walk.
I actually did, and the strange part is, I wasn't thinking about grammar, just about what I genuinely wanted to say.
That's exactly what fluent conversations feel like. The idea comes first, and the grammar quietly follows behind.
So if I wanted to practice this tomorrow, what should I actually do?
Keep it simple. As you're walking, don't try to invent impressive sentences. Simply describe what's happening around you.
Something like, that cafe looks busy?
Perfect. Or, the traffic is really quiet today. Or, that family looks happy. Or, someone is waiting for the bus. Simple, but real.
And because they're real, my brain doesn't have to invent anything. I'm just describing what I'm already seeing.
Exactly. Your eyes do half the work and your brain simply follows.
Can I ask you one last question before we keep walking? Earlier, you mentioned a technique that changes everything and that I could start using right after this video. What is it?
It's probably the simplest technique we've talked about, but the one most people never try. Instead of waiting for someone to speak to you, start having small conversations with yourself.
Conversations with myself? That sounds a little unusual. What would I even talk about?
About whatever is happening around you. Every street, store, person, or building becomes a new opportunity to notice something and express a thought.
So instead of waiting for a situation to happen, I just create my own practice?
Exactly. And because those situations are real, your brain remembers the language much more easily. And because those situations are real, your brain remembers the language much more easily.
Can you show me what that looks like? I think hearing a real example would help.
Of course. Imagine we're walking down this street. I see a bookstore. That bookstore looks interesting. A cafe. It smells amazing in there. People outside. They look like they're enjoying the afternoon. Simple, natural thoughts.
I like that. It doesn't feel like studying, it feels like paying attention.
Exactly. You're connecting English to real moments instead of isolated exercises.
This morning, I thought I needed more vocabulary, grammar, and rules, but now I realize my brain was already capable of speaking. It just needed a better habit. Every time I step outside, I have another opportunity to practice, which makes fluency feel so much closer.
Fluency rarely begins when you learn something new. It begins when you start using what you already know in a different way. Don't wait for a question. Start noticing the world around you and let English describe it, so translating turns into natural thinking.
I already feel more confident, but sometimes I still feel like I sound a bit robotic.
Thinking in English is step 1. Sounding natural is step 2. In our next lesson, I'll show you 5 simple expressions native speakers use to sound instantly more relaxed and natural.
That sounds exactly like what I need. See you in the next lesson.
See you next time.